Who has the bomb 40 years after Hiroshima? It's no longer just a question of what to do about the nuclear weapons in the hands of the United States and the Soviet Union. Now the bomb is very likely in some areas where a war of one kind or another is always just an incident away. Tonight, the bomb and the Middle East. It is the most volatile region in the world, and there is no sign of an enduring peace or stability anytime soon. For 37 years now, Jews have been fighting Arabs in the Middle East. And within the Arab family, there have been deadly, bloody battles over turf and religious differences. With conventional weapons, the situation is bad enough. Nuclear weapons would make it much worse. And the weapons are there. There is little doubt about who has them.
Israel already has a weapon. We know that they have. The Israelis obviously know they have, and everybody in the Middle East assumes that they have it.
This is the key to Israel's nuclear capacity. Dimona in the Negev desert. For more than 20 years now, it has been able to produce the material needed to build nuclear weapons. Not just one, but many.
Very large.
Tony Kortesman is a widely recognized weapons expert.
There is at least 100 nuclear weapons in the Israeli inventory, and possibly over 140.
Another expert, Richard Sale of Aerospace Daily, claims the Israelis now have deployed a medium-range ballistic missile with nuclear warheads, the Jericho-2.
That warhead was developed at the Weizmann Institute near Tel Aviv, and there were U.S. scientists involved in its development. One told me that he saw the warhead himself, that it has a diameter of 18 to 20 inches. It is approximately 2 feet long and weighs about 226 pounds.
The 1973 Yom Kippur War, a classic example of how a regional conflict could escalate into a nuclear exchange. After early defeats, Israel crossed the Sinai and was rolling toward Cairo. The late Egyptian President Sadat appealed to the Soviet Union for help. American intelligence monitored a Soviet freighter loaded with radioactive material as it left Odessa on October 12th. The tracking continued through Istanbul as the Russian ship headed for the Egyptian port of Alexandria.
If you're an old intelligence professional and you have access to the raw data, then you must judge, as I do now and as I did then, that there was 100% probability that there were nuclear weapons aboard that Soviet freighter.
In a Time magazine interview, former President Richard Nixon said he signaled the Soviets the United States was prepared to use its nuclear weapons to resist them. Henry Kissinger doesn't remember it that way.
Were we in fact considering going to nuclear war as a government, and were we taking the minimum preparatory steps to go to nuclear war? To that, the answer is clearly no.
But what about the Israelis? Would they ever use nuclear weapons?
If Israel were faced with extinction, if it were really a question of life and death, that then it would be prepared to use nuclear weapons, and it would probably be able to threaten it plausibly.
That is the paradox. Israel is America's strongest ally in the Middle East. All of the available evidence indicates these men have the bomb, yet they will not sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and furthermore, they have been able to build their weapons with material and parts smuggled from the United States. Most recently, Krytrons, electrodes which can be used as nuclear triggers. They were illegally exported to Israel for more than 3 years. Israel denies they were for nuclear weapons, but there is no condemnation from Washington. Israel very likely has nuclear capability. And yet we do not come down hard on them because, practically speaking, it's in our best interest.
It's true.
We have no practical way of halting an Israeli nuclear effort which is in progress. The most we can hope to do is keep its political profile low enough so it doesn't catalyze a broader process of proliferation throughout the world.
And Israel is not about to let an Arab adversary build a bomb. When Iraq built a reactor which would produce weapons-grade plutonium, Israel took it out with a surgical airstrike.
It was an act of supreme, morally supreme acts of national self-defense. We shall not allow any enemy to develop weapons of mass destruction turned against us. There won't be another Holocaust in the history of the Jewish people. Never again, never again.
There are good Arab scientists, there are good Muslim scientists, and the bomb will be built in Baghdad, or in Cairo, or in Morocco, or outside the Arab world, but it will be built.
Another war is always just around the corner in the Middle East. What happens when the day comes when Israel's survival cannot be assured by conventional weapons, or an Arab nation with its own nuclear capability decides a preemptive strike is worth the risk? Tomorrow night on this series, the nuclear contest between two other bitter enemies, India and Pakistan.